Has anybody also noticed this little business with the CRTC? It seems that there's a radio station that wants 2 FM stations. No, that's too many English stations. It's too much competition for the French, so they've taken them away from them, and now it's going to be...
But as long as we pay for it.
Yeah, well, not only we pay for it, but the radio station that's vying for the spots is now having to offer $300,000 and $400,000 to this other station to keep it afloat.
The French station.
Even though that when they originally did the job, the RGA did apply for one of the stations, and the people ruled that their business plan was pie in the sky and just dreaming.
Unprofessional.
And it's still that way. But now they're going to get their way because, after all, we English, we can't be too much competition for the French. Okay? Okay, I want to call on Kim to introduce our guest speaker.
Hi. Good evening. I'm so happy to see at least half the group here. I was hoping for a lot more than this because, you know, we send email messages out and we got the phone dialer to work. So that the representatives from the Randy Hillier, am I saying this right? Randy Hillier? Hillier? Whatever.
Hillier, not Hillier.
From his campaign will be able to come to talk to us about what he is going to fight for, because we think that he is the only one to support. And so we have given him all kinds of promo in the messages I send out. So now we welcome Jack McLaren to come and talk to us.
Whatever you're comfortable with, you can stand right out center and have him, or behind the lectern if you wish.
And a bottle of water.
If you need papers, this will be handy.
And I get to use the hammer if anybody
Be my guest.
You know, I'm all in favor of free opinion and whatever you like, but if you don't agree with me, folks, you're this is our form of landowner democracy.
Right on, boy.
At least if we're talking to Dalton McGinty, that's what we said. So my name is Jack McLaren. I'm president of the Ontario Landowners Association. So thank you very much for inviting us here, and we appreciate that very much. So we're hard on the campaign trail, which you folks all know. I think you're somewhat familiar with the Ontario Landowners Association. It's an organization that started 6 years ago, and Randy Hillier was the founding president. And so through our activities and our media coverage, you're aware of what we stand for, basically. Very simply and primarily property rights. We're primarily a rural organization, but not entirely. More and more we're developing alliances and friends who are urban-minded folks and dealing with issues that cross boundaries between urban and rural. But initially it was rural issues that we got started on in Lanark County. There was a few fellows in Lanark decided that they were sick and tired of government intruding into our lives, into our private properties, and into our businesses, and that we were going to do something about it. And it has worked very well. So we, 4 or 5 fellows started the Lanark Landowners Association. Randy was president. We took on the Ministry of Natural Resources, who was trying to say that sawdust was polluting water. And their attitude was, you're guilty until proven innocent, so you must do an environmental impact study, hiring consultants, of course, because we've created a whole new industry of environmental consultants in this country with all the environmental regulations that we have. And so you must prove that you're not polluting the water, and if you can do that, then you can carry on doing business. So that put quite a few fellows out of business because they were small, like family farms or gas stations, small business, and so they just couldn't afford the consultants. So 7 or 8 sawmills did get shut down. Through the actions of the Lanark Landowners Association with Randy's leadership, practicing civil disobedience. I didn't wear my shirt tonight because I thought I better be politically correct. Maybe I should have worn my shirt, but
we're not politically correct.
Yeah, and I should have brought some signs for you folks because maybe you'd like to take them home, but next time I'll be better prepared as a landowner. But I thought I should be a little more political tonight, and I said to Jerry Jetty, who's with me, well, we'll leave the shirts at home for tonight. Probably a mistake, Jerry, because I don't think I've ever been anywhere where it was inappropriate to wear our shirts. I wore it in the legislature at Queen's Park, and it was the most comfortable place I ever wore it, and I felt like I was the best guy there. So we had 100 of us in the gallery in the legislature when Randy got elected a year and a half ago. They said we couldn't wear shirts like that in. There's a white sweatshirt that says, "Stop, this land is our land, back off government." And so we turned them inside out so it was just white. And Randy asked the legislature when he was down on the floor, he said, we have the Ontario Landowners Association here, members from across the province, and this is the first day, first week in the legislature. Something in fact we want to acknowledge these people that have come to see democracy in action. Could they wear their distinguished shirts the other side out? He didn't say what was on the shirts, and maybe they weren't aware or not aware enough, and they all voted unanimously for it. So we all took our shirts off and put them on the right side out, and that made great pictures in the legislature.
Wow, good.
And Dalton was most appreciative, I'll assure you. So, the organization has evolved in 6 years from the Lanark Landowners Association and getting a lot of media, and Randy started to travel around Ontario. We would call them and have little meetings like this just to hear what we do and how we do it. Really, you're not getting away with anything. We're just standing up and fighting for what's right, like you folks do. And the more we do it, the more victorious we're going to be, and the better government will result, for sure. It's just an exercise of exercising our democratic rights and our democratic might. And we do have tremendous democratic might. Every politician who knows that there's a meeting like this with people who are saying bad things about, who's your favorite guy, Alex Cullen?
Yeah.
Mine too. They're very aware that meetings like this are happening, and it's very, very powerful. So anyways, Randy started traveling around the province. Over the next 3 years, he formed 10 new county landowners associations. In February of 2006, we formed the Ontario Landowners Association, an umbrella group. And since then, we now have 23 county landowners associations. We have 3 new ones since the new year this year. And as soon as we can get up to Sudbury and down to Kent County, we're going to have those people on board too. So we're beginning to discover just how big a province Ontario is. Because Essex County is just further away than we used to think it was. So it's working great. We are growing. We are becoming more powerful, more significant. And in the beginning, 6 years ago, nobody would touch the Lanark landowners in Randy Hilly with a 10-foot pole because we practiced civil disobedience. We were considered rednecks from the bush. It was a political liability to have anything to do with us. We were considered flash in the pan. People thought it would just disappear, and we are anything but a flash in the pan now. We've been here 6 years. We are growing. We're much bigger than any one person. Randy resigned as president in January of 2007. I took over in March of 2007, so it's a little over 2 years ago. And we continue to grow. And so the organization has a life of its own, and it's the people of Ontario. Primarily rural, but growing into urban. We've met groups in Toronto that are very conservative, like-minded folks that basically want better government. The Association of Principal Canadians, which is a group in Toronto. You know them, Kim. We met in Canada about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
They had planned to have a meeting that didn't happen on April 18th. That they didn't get enough folks signed up for it. But these are the kind of bridges we're building. We now find that politicians have regard for us, and especially at election time, they have need for us because we swing votes. And that's what we're going to talk to you here about tonight, is voting and making better government. There's 2 ways to make better government. It's to go to the Superior Court of Canada and change the Constitution and enforce laws and enforce regulations, and basically between the court systems and the judges and the lawyers, who can afford justice. Justice is not accessible because of cost, and if you get the wrong judge at the top, you get the wrong answer anyway. So that's not a very desirable route. At the Ontario Landowners, we have very little money. We're all volunteers, so we can't use, money is not a tool we have. But what we do have that's even more powerful is people, and we have votes, and we have the will to fight, and we get tremendous turnout at election time. We've even pleasantly surprised at ourselves at how effective we can be at election time in determining who will get elected or not get elected.